seamless transition at Pompey. It came about by accident, but Portsmouth's managerial pairing of Zayet and Jordan is working nicely. They never know when they're beaten. One down at Newcastle, they equalised. One down at Liverpool, they repeated the trick. They're unbeaten in the Premier League. But Arsene Wenger's got his problems. Only 2 wins in 8 is not typical Arsenal. However, there were signs against Chelsea last week that normal service may shortly be resumed. Welcome to Fratton Park, one of the most atmospheric, not to mention historic venues in the English Premier League. A chilly day on England's south coast, darkness beginning to gather overhead, and a chance to see the reigning champions as they seek to emerge from a tunnel of uncertainty. Let's look at the Portsmouth lineup. The recent unbeaten run has led to another familiar selection being named today. There's just one enforced change, that's at left back, where Dejan Stefanovic is injured. So is David Unsworth. They're both out until the new year, so Matthew Taylor starts. The good results have coincided with the use of a 5-man midfield, with Loire in particular employed in a wide position but encouraged to get forward in support of Ricardo Fuller. Rather more by way of changes to report for Arsenal. They've lost Jose Antonio Reyes, the Spaniard, to a slight ankle problem sustained in training during the week. So Gaël Clichy comes in to operate ahead of Ashley Cole down the left side. Mathieu Flamini is preferred to Fabregas alongside Patrick Vieira. And with Bergkamp left on the bench, there's a first ever Premier League start for the Dutchman Robin van Persie. The Pompey chimes, much in evidence, as we await the first whistle of the afternoon from match referee Howard Webb. Portsmouth performed better than most against Arsenal in the Barclays English Premier League last season. 2 1-all draws, and recent form favours Portsmouth, unbeaten in the league under their new management. How do you see this one panning out, David?
I think Portsmouth will need a good start. They need to push Arsenal onto the back foot. They need to give them that little shake, because the longer the game goes, with Arsenal's confidence in passing the ball, they really do feel as though they can take any team in this league. But today they have 4 relatively inexperienced players. Van Persie, a debut, Flamini, Clichy, and the goalkeeper, of course, Almunia, who has taken over from Jens Lehmann. And that's where Wenger will be hoping very much today, that these 4 players settle very quickly. And if they do, and they do well, they could well be in line for 2 or 3 games over the holiday period.
It is a hectic spell coming up for the teams in the English Premier League, most of them facing 4 games in a 10-day spell. The next fixtures after this weekend are on Boxing Day. There's then another set of games prior to New Year. A 3rd set of fixtures on New Year's Day, and a 4th to follow just 2 or 3 days later. And that's before the clubs face up to the prospect of the 3rd round of the FA Cup on the weekend of the 8th of January. Never quiet in the domestic English football season. Here's Robin van Persie for Arsenal, today in their changed colours. Lauren. Robert Pires, he's being booed because of an outrageous dive that he effected at Highbury last season. They try and play Henry in, which won a penalty and allowed Arsenal to rescue a point against Portsmouth on a day when they might actually have lost that long unbeaten run.
You see there Henry getting behind Primus rather easily, but Ashdown being very alert in the first minute.
Portsmouth fans have long memories. Here's Sol Campbell. This is Van Persie, who is being buffeted by Amni Pai.
We see many changes at this time of the year in the English Premier League. The managers giving various other players opportunities whilst we come into this frenetic holiday period. But it's interesting that the back 4s in many teams stay the same. It's so important that they're well organised, and in Campbell partnering Toure at the back, they have the solid rock of Arsenal back together. There was all sorts of criticisms of Zidane playing at centre-back. Well, Carlo Toure and Sol Campbell are as efficient as any pairing.
There was also a sense of relief in the Arsenal camp that another member of that back four, Ashley Cole, was past fit to play today. He was rated very doubtful only a couple of days ago. He's had a knee problem. Bratton Park packed to its capacity, which is only just a shade over 20,000. But they can sound like 40. There's Yakubu amongst the Portsmouth substitutes. He's got a terrific recent scoring record, 13 goals in his last 17 English Premier League matches. Not fit enough to start today.
Harry Redknapp, I've noticed, isn't in the crowd today, and not thinking of trying to buy Yakubu, so we're here.
Harry's well advised not to show his face in Portsmouth just at the moment. There's one team that Portsmouth fans would object to him moving to. It is Southampton. Gary O'Neill. Referee Howard Webb signals that the ball was taken, then Stone clattered into Vieira, and now the referee does call a halt.
There you see Stone there, right in the heart of the action in the midfield. He's essentially involved in the centre with Andy Fye and O'Neill. There you see, I thought O'Neill there was a little bit unlucky not to get a free kick. Stone came in a bit rashly. Interesting to see all those players in the centre circle there. It's because early on Portsmouth will try and quell the skill of Flamini and Vieira in there by matching them and trying to get the extra numbers in there. There you see them once again, the three midfield players. Loire playing essentially on the wide rightish, Berger on the wide leftish, and Ricardo Fuller will plough very much alone furrow up front.
Here's Toure. Mentioned the two English Premier League draws between these sides last year. And here come Portsmouth. Not with a real threat though, from Ricardo Fuller.
Yeah, struggled to get goals so far for Portsmouth. There we see the break. Decided to go as a run on his right-hand side. He thought about playing it, but it was a rather wretched effort. Never got over the ball. Long stride, always going to lift it high. Need a short stride and get your knee over the ball, and Joe Georgian there could teach him a thing or two about striking. A very brave, strong centre-forward. Always gave centre-halves plenty of problems.
Henri Tezeu made enough of a challenge. Here's Primus. O'Neill. Steve Stone. Lost it to Vieira. Pires. Here's Lauren. And Taylor concedes the corner.
Yeah, it's important that Matthew Taylor tries to establish himself in this back four today. In the last game at Portsmouth, one of the last games against Manchester City, Sean Wright-Phillips, the excellent Manchester City winger, had a wonderful game against Unsworth, who looked rather wooden in that position. Matthew Taylor will do his best today to impress Ziyech and Jordan.
If there is a question mark over Taylor, it has tended to be a defensive one. He's only started one game as an orthodox left-back in the Premier League this season. Now here's a chance for Arsenal, and it was Vieira who was falling.
They gave him far too much time. He was allowed to stop that ball and hit it on the volley. Here you see him control that ball far too easily. Look, it was Primus in the end that went to challenge him, but had too much time. That's a Christmas present for the boy in the road.
There's Velimir Ziyech. He just left his role as director of football at Panathinaikos when they played Arsenal in the Champions League earlier this season. Muscled by Vieira.
that the opposition might have more possession and might have times or periods of play where their home team isn't getting much of the ball. If that would be at one of the bigger arenas in England, Newcastle for example, we saw it this week, where their home supporters don't like the attempts of the home team if they're not getting a fair proportion of the ball. But the Portsmouth fans understand that their best policy might be to retreat, accept some pressure and hopefully counter on the break.
Van Persie. Flamini. Vieira. Now Campbell. Doing his best for Portsmouth. It's Flamini for Arsenal. Now Pires. Flamini back to Vieira. Pires. Henry. Tackle was a good, firm and fair one. And here's Patrick Berger now for Pompey. Steve Stone. Griffin. And the offside flag up is against Ricardo Fuller.
There you see, when the ball is played forward, Ricardo Fuller has basically got 4 Arsenal defenders between him and the goal, and it's hard. You've got to keep working the ball and passing it and get runners and breakers from midfield. The emphasis, or the onus very much, will be on the left-hand side. Berger to get forward, Loire to get forward, and you want one of the 3 midfield players, Stone particularly, or O'Neill, occasionally Andy Fye, whose main job is to break up attacks, to get forward and support.
Portsmouth have a free kick, and it's going to be taken by Matthew Taylor. Aimed in towards Fuller. Lofted it skywards. There's the Arsenal bench with Arsene Wenger on the left-hand side of it. Recently agreed a 3-year extension to his contract, just as all the results started to take a downturn, but surely it's only a temporary situation.
They don't look the happiest bench for a team sitting 3rd in the English Premier League. Maybe they've got some troubles we don't know about.
Wenger summed up his predicament as succinctly as you would expect from an erudite spokesman like him. He said, confidence goes so quickly, but returns so slowly. And the old adage that winning is a habit has proved to be the case. Winning became second nature for Arsenal for so long. This is Ashley Cole. Asking an awful lot of Gael Clichy. O'Neill jumping with Flamini. Comes to Cole. And Henry has got away from the defender. And Thierry Henry tried to square it for Van Persie. And the defending was solid and stout.
It was a really terrific play by Primus. Portsmouth defence completely lost that ball. I think it was Dzeo. Great chance for Henry. Could he have squared it? Possibly.
Henry, having won the corner, will take it. Comes out to Lauren. A challenge that was appreciated by the Arsenal players, but referee Webb had a good view of both tackles and saw nothing wrong in either. Andy Griffin hurling himself into the thick of it.
Well, he does come in from behind, but I think that was a very stupid thing to do by the Arsenal player. And then we also see Clichy going in a little bit not circumspect, that's for sure, and they've got to be careful, because always feel a team of quality can destroy themselves sometimes with indiscipline. And that's what they've got to be careful of, Arsenal. Particularly in this game where there's a real atmosphere and you can feel it. There's a fierceness. There's the crowd. Every free kick is a real, is like a big move forward.
Portsmouth have claimed some big scalps at Bratton Park in their season and a half in the English Premier League. Manchester United have lost here last season and this. Arsenal were held here last season. In comes the free kick. And Pires is grateful to clear it downfield towards Flamini. Two wins in their last 8 matches in the Barclays English Premier League, having won 8 of their previous 9. 2 defeats at Old Trafford and at Anfield.
Fabulous play, Primus there, but gave it away.
Pires, I'm going to stop naming him in a moment, it's not worth it. No need. Lauren. Hit Taylor, and then it's cleared by Stone.
Arsenal dictating possession as we expected they would, but finding very few spaces in between the Portsmouth ranks. Portsmouth with 10 men behind the ball. As soon as the Arsenal back four get any ball at all, just Ricardo Fuller left up front in isolation.
Campbell. It's a very good tackle.
No, he's showing great resolution. Of course, he scored 2 goals recently. Hasn't been a goal scorer. Scored a few at Colchester for sure before he went to Newcastle. But in and out at Newcastle, and no consistent run led to a dearth of goals and some dissatisfaction. But he's found his feet here, that's for sure.
9 goals in 88 appearances for Newcastle. Still at the stage of his career where he's made more substitute appearances than starts. 100 times he's come on as a substitute with his various clubs, 86 starts.
Be the chairman of the bench then. But certainly he can only do his acrobatics if he's scoring, and he loves scoring.
Taylor's cross, and here is Lualua. Up against Clichy and Cole. Corner given. Now this is interesting, because Arsenal have conceded more goals to set pieces than any other English Premier League team this season.
Yes, we'll talk about it soon, the massive advantage or disadvantage, or the advantages and disadvantages of zonal defence.
De Zeu is up, so was Primus. Both fists from Almunia and good distance on the punch. Taylor. Lualua. Fuller is central. It'll be a throw. Might have been more. Of the 22 goals that Arsenal have conceded this season, 11 have come from set pieces. To put that in some sort of context, Chelsea have conceded 4 and Manchester United 2.
Well, there you see the Arsenal players quite clearly. 2 on the post, 3 strung across the 6-yard box, 1 in front as a shield. And the downside of that is they don't get a good run at the ball to attack the ball when forwards come in attacking the ball. The upside is that all the spaces are covered if they keep their discipline. Most managers in the English Premier League go for the man-to-man marking system.
Portsmouth break. Matthew Taylor. Referee's whistle had already gone.
There you see Carlo Toure, he also has gloves, and you know, I often find that sometimes it's a habit, you know, that they've gone from the young players wearing gloves on colder days. It's so important. 2 parts of your body. You must keep your feet warm and you must keep your hands warm. Because some clubs can't afford gloves, you know, lower down legs.
Persie to Flamini, this is good. Henry.
I suppose the best advert for gloves is Henry. 15 goals, the leading scorer in the English Premier League.
By a country mile as well. The next leading scorer is 9. Flamini. Goals in total in all competitions so far for Henry. Here's Lauren. Left by Henry, and behind him was Griffin. Toure. Nicked away from him by Portsmouth. O'Neill ran back into Lauren. Sliding in to dispossess Pires. Very tight arena, there's not much space between the touchline and the front row of spectators. Henry. Now Pires. And the referee has been advised of an offside.
Portsmouth playing a very disciplined game. There we see the ball played into feet. And as Pires went in behind, quite clearly, the assistant raises the flag.
Vichy. Goal. Been sticking at it.
It's down the left-hand side that Newcastle could get some success. They need to get into... Arsenal need to get into advanced positions there, and Clichy and Ashley Cole have the energy.
Goalkeeper came and didn't get that. A lot of players in front of him. Seemed to come last of all off Flamini. Nearly half an hour played in the Barclays English Premier League at Fratton Park. On a weekend so far of many goals in the competition. 29 of them in the 8 games completed so far.
Yeah, it really was an incredible number. My wife remarked to me that they must have all been out on Christmas parties. It was quite remarkable. In the English Premier League this weekend, the amount of goals and some of the superb goals that were scored really were outstanding.
Did Mrs. Pleat suggest to you who she thought might win this game?
No, she was just disappointed that she didn't get invited to any of the parties.
Henry. Faced first of all by Linboy Primus. Looks in field towards Ashley Cole. And now Henry. And Van Persie. Good chance.
Once again, Andy Fye was the closest defender to Van Persie there. It was Ashley Cole well forward. Stone trying to defend, and rather a wasteful shot there. Andy Fye just couldn't quite get to him. It was a good chance, and we know that Van Persie is very, very good at manoeuvring his left foot and getting those shots in from those angles.
Primus.
Portsmouth just need to take the sting out of the game just a little bit. I think their back four could just push a little bit higher up. It's always a danger against Arsenal because they've got so much pace, and that ball over the top is always a fear factor when you're playing against the likes of Henry and pacey players, Pires and Van Persie. But if they're going to have some attacking in the game, they've got to squeeze a little bit. The back four has to push forward a bit.
Patrick Berger to Steve Stone. Toure got a piece of it, but here's Loire.
That was far better, and more players push forward. There we see at least 3 blue shirts in front of the ball. Good break by Matthew Taylor on the outside, which opens up the inside for Loire.
scorers in the English Premier League with 44 goals in their 17 games prior to today. 5 twice, 4 on 3 occasions. And here they're still looking for their first.
Discipline, the Portsmouth midfield three. Stone having to do a lot of the defending in that group.
Cole. Clichy. Henri. That might do Alois. Vieira. Arsenal look the other way. Portsmouth coping reasonably comfortably with most of what's thrown at them, but then trying to hit on the break, and here's Gary O'Neill trying to do just that. Oh, and O'Neill's put it a foot wide.
What a chance. Oh, great chance, and there's a foul beforehand by Touré. Referee sensibly and cleverly let play go. There you see the terrible push on there. Great ball forward by Steve Stone into the space, going forward into the 18-yard box. There was the chance. What an opportunity. That's how Portsmouth have to play it. The first chance they've had in 34, 35 minutes, they would have settled for that. What a story that would have been if they could take the lead against the Arsenal.
It was a moment for Gary O'Neill. It's a player who's trying to make this his true breakthrough season. That could have been a headline. Ricardo Fuller. Some Sol Campbell.
Not easy to beat Campbell. Power, pace, 6'2", solid.
Vieira. Percy was lurking, but Primus with a no-nonsense clearance. Control to a difficult dropping ball, gives away a corner. Which is rapidly taken. Henri. They'll have a go.
Henri tries to usually get a little bit closer there. David Moyes, Ian Broomfield, the chief scout of Aston Villa, sitting next to him. Sure they have one of these two teams as opponents shortly. Willie Donachie.
Steve Keane, assistant manager of Fulham, in the front row as well. Griffin for Portsmouth. Now Vieira. Sight of David Moyes is a reminder that Everton remain above Arsenal at this stage in the Barclays English Premier League table. 2 points better off than Arsenal. Arsenal, therefore, with a win today, would regain second place above Everton. It's a foul. Within a couple of yards of the referee. Anthony Pye penalised. Vieira directing operations. Vieira. Lauren.
Two wide fullbacks, Griffin and Taylor, sticking like a leech to the wide Arsenal players, Clichy and Pires.
stage for Portsmouth to redevelop Fratton Park. So we hope that whatever they do architecturally, they retain this more or less unique atmosphere. Here comes Pires. Ball bounced in Taylor's favour. Now Deseo. Off goes Berger, out comes Almunia.
Good forward break by Berger.
Not a player of great experience in Spain, not at the top level, Manuel Almunia. Only 100 games in La Liga in 10 years. Spent most of last season on loan from Celta Vigo to Albacete. Griffin. Cole missed his kick, here's Fuller. Can he pull it back? Lualua was waiting, he couldn't, it's a corner. Ashley Cole reprieved.
And Stone and Berger too were coming in on the edge of the 18-yard box. If he could have just clipped that back. Horrific mistake there by Ashley Cole. Campbell came across quite cleverly, but Ricardo Fuller should have done better.
Portsmouth supporters sensing something. Deseu, headed down, but dealt with comfortably by Vieira. And now it's Pires. Portsmouth's threat is sporadic. There have been a couple of moments when Arsenal have been asked some serious questions. Van Persie. Reminded that Bergkamp is on the bench today. Reyes is carrying a slight angle knock. Without those two, Arsenal get the decision. Clichy places the ball in the quadrant for Henry. And here comes the heavy artillery. Campbell, Toure and Vieira. All in excess of 6 feet in height. It's cleared on the half volley by Patrick Berger. Ashley Cole. By. Just got a flick on that, it'll be another corner.
Portsmouth need to get half-time, and they will be delighted if they do with this scoreline. If it remains, they've shackled and snuffed Arsenal, done well.
In by Pires. Percy was closest to it for Arsenal. Who got the nod today over 17-year-old Cesc Fabregas. Flamini is hardly a veteran at 20.
Have some wonderful young players, as was seen in the English Carling Cup when they put reserve sides out. There's Joe Jordan and Ziyech. We're more than delighted with the game plan so far, and if there is a spirit of Redknapp and Smith, it's certainly living on, and these two gentlemen have done exceedingly well in the last few weeks. It must have been a very, very difficult job, because it looked as though the club was in disarray.
And there have been a lot of very supportive comments from the players as well.
Yes, absolutely fine. You know, players think about the game, and they see here there's two genuine people who want to do well for them and for themselves, but they've got to have pride in the team and pride in the club as well.
Vieira. Forward by Deseu. And back by Toure. One or two taunts from the home supporters at Arsenal. Saying in English football, you shouldn't get Arsenal angry. Henry. And again Thierry Henry. Plenty of Portsmouth players back, and he tried to curl it.
They must close the ball. They may have have been 3 defenders around Henry there, but they allowed him to curve the ball towards the back post, and you can't do that. You've got to close. You're scared of his quick feet, his quick footwork. And you know that he might try and induce a penalty for a rush tackle, but you've got to close the ball.
Possibility for Portsmouth.
It was a gorgeous first touch by Luar that put Fuller through, and it just scrapes beyond that back post. They've had the best 2 chances, there's no question. O'Neill and Fuller in this half, where they've been on the back foot, but they've defended with great discipline and determination.
Final minute of the first half. There will be 1 additional minute tagged on, but here's Henry, and there was Clichy on the stretch, and he couldn't control it. And Stone has found O'Neill, and now Taylor. Portsmouth will surely be encouraged by the 2 opportunities that they have carved out in the latter portion of this first half. They've also got the possibility of throwing on their most dangerous goal scorer, Yakubu, at some point in the second period. And here's Fuller. Arsenal appeal for handball, and the referee concurs.
Well, Fuller's becoming a little bit of a threat. That was a gorgeous ball around the corner by Luar. Now Mooney came very quickly and almost helped as Jordan up, and that would have been a dream half-time result, wouldn't it? 1-0 to Portsmouth on the balance of play, but just shows you can defend well.
Lauren. O'Neill. Mr. de Flamini. He gave it to Fuller. Here's Luar. Portsmouth full of industry in this first half. Free kick with the seconds ticking away.
I think the Portsmouth supporters almost delight in this David and Goliath type theatre. They like to see the big boys brought down, and when you look at the money that's been spent on this Portsmouth team, it is literally a fraction, an absolute fraction of the cost of the big team from North London.
Never mind the cost, though. The scoreline is what really matters here, and it's goalless at half-time. Really, Portsmouth should be in front. Gary O'Neill with a wonderful chance. Ricardo Fuller, moments before the whistle, with an opportunity every bit as good, and the Pompey chimes are ringing out very proudly around Fratton Park as the players leave the field at the end of a fascinating first half. The score here is Portsmouth 0, Arsenal 0. The scene is set. They have a full start. Portsmouth get the second half underway. They've come from behind to earn substantial rewards in each of their last 3 games. They were 2-1 down with 5 minutes to go against West Brom here, and came back to win 3-2. They've managed to come from behind to equalise in their last 2 outings away from home. Difficult looking trips to Newcastle and Liverpool. So they're resilient, and they're in a pretty decent position here, goalless with the champions, and contributing plenty to this game. What will Arsene Wenger have been saying, David Pleat, at half-time, do you imagine?
Well, they'll be looking at ways of getting round the back of this resolute Portsmouth defence. Portsmouth have sat very deep, left little space, little grass behind the back 4. They've stifled Arsenal, although Arsenal have had a lot of possession, but amazingly, I can't remember Ashdown, the young goalkeeper, making one save where he had to pull Portsmouth out of trouble in that half. once or twice he made very good anticipations, but not actually making a brilliant save on the line to thwart Arsenal. So Arsene Wenger, I think he'll be looking for Cole to support Clichy a little bit quicker, to try and get forward, to try and get behind the right side of the Portsmouth defence, behind Griffin, and perhaps on the other side maybe Perez to hold the width a little bit more on the right-hand side. But you know, first goal is going to be so important, and if Portsmouth can grasp it, then my word, all hell will be let loose here, because their game plan so far has absolutely been superb.
Interesting to see when they do decide to unleash Yakubu from the bench. They have missed him and his goals.
Yes, with Yakubu sitting there, they have power to go with Fuller, or indeed they could take Fuller off, because he'll be very tired towards the end of this game, and combine the strengths of Yakubu with the subtlety of Berkovic's passing, and that could give them more creativity if they have to open the game out. Bear in mind, Portsmouth will see this as some kind of victory, or moral victory, if they can maintain the draw.
Caught a glimpse of the Everton manager David Moyes in the stand. Portsmouth are due at Goodison Park on the 3rd of January. Something like an eighth of the season to unfold between now and then, so thick and fast do the games come at this festive time of year. Here's Patrick Berger for Portsmouth. Chance here for Pompey. Oh, and the ball has been overrun, and then there was a swallow dive in the hope of rescuing something from a situation that should have yielded a lot more for Ricardo Fuller. Griffin hit the retreating Cole, and now it's Clichy for Arsenal. And against the side of Arsenal's quality, Portsmouth surely can't afford to waste all these opportunities. Lauren. Cards Robert Pires receives this year from his many fans. There won't be too many with a Portsmouth postmark. Campbell shrugging off O'Neill. So what about that opportunity for Ricardo Fuller?
Well, it was a great break by Berger, and it was absolutely superb, the pass that he played into Fuller's path. It's perfectly weighted. It needed a right foot bender round the goalkeeper to the goalkeeper's left, a la Henry, but he just didn't have the technical ability to get his feet sorted out quick enough.
The preparations are ongoing for Yakubu to join in.
Just that point on the referee, Webb. Do I assume he was a policeman, and is now full-time professional referee on the panel, or is he still a policeman?
I think you'll still find him doing the odd police shift, David.
Is he? What, you should know, what, at night, afternoons? Come on, John. What force was he in before Rotherham?
No, he's still part of South Yorkshire Police.
Yes.
It's a bit of a misnomer, I think, David, this notion of the full-time referee, in that they do train much more than they ever did before. They do go to clubs, as you would know, and involve themselves, but many of them do still hold down part-time positions outside football. Clearance there was by Toure, and then Lauren. Taylor's throw. The other factor is that many of them actually run their own businesses, which makes it rather easier to take time off.
Yes.
Clichy. Henry. Dispossessed by Loire, who I think has got through more defensive work than I've ever seen him do before. It's necessary in the role that he's been asked to play.
Yes, wide right, up and down the line, total commitment, and of course a player who likes to dribble and play with his back to goal often, and with his great trickery, force goal situations. It's really credit to him that he's taken on Joe Jordan's and Zayat's instructions to play in this wide right role. You know, you often find players who like playing up the centre don't like then having to play wide, and it's credit to Loire. He's becoming a team player.
There was a hand in the face from Fuller, and that was Cole possession. This will be a popular moment around Pratton Park. Yakubu, the 22-year-old Nigerian, is coming on in place of Ricardo Fuller. And whilst Fuller has struggled for goals, Yakubu has got 34 in 72 games for Portsmouth, 13 in his last 17 matches in the Barclays English Premier League. So if a chance falls his way, there's a fair chance that he'll take it. Last 5 minutes, the ball has belonged predominantly to Portsmouth. Griffin.
I think we can expect an Arsenal change around the 60-minute mark. I think that Arsene Wenger will be very aware that they haven't created clear opportunities, and he'll need to shake it. At the moment, there's no suggestion that Arsenal are cutting up Portsmouth in any way and missing chances. Indeed, they're not creating chances.
Cole. Flamini. Van Persie. Pires. Fortunate to get a second bite at it. Robin Van Persie for Arsenal. Portsmouth block him out first time. And the shot with the right foot within the goalkeeper's reach.
Down very quickly was Ashdown. Clever turn, was it, by Van Persie onto his weaker right foot, but there's Ashdown on the edge of his 6-yard box, narrowing his angle superbly.
There's been plenty to admire in this game. Portsmouth throw.
You have to say that they haven't missed Unsworth and Stefanovic nearly as much as we might have thought prior to the game. Mind you, there's a third of the game to go, so in the English Premier League recently, it's very unwise to sum up too early because there's been so many late goals.
A lot of them scored by Portsmouth. Griffin. One very notable one conceded by Arsenal, that spectacular winner for Neil Mellor. Liverpool. Luar to Yakubu. Leaning into the defender. Stone with the cross. It's beyond Berger. O'Neill was waiting in the centre. There were howls for handball. Deseu. It's Toure that was the subject of close scrutiny. Whether it struck a hand or an arm. One back by O'Neill for Portsmouth. Griffin. Vieira. Nice play by Arsenal. Here's Clichy. Vieira for a second time, nearly for a third. It's a good sliding challenge by Stone. Luar. Gary O'Neill. Now Berger. Yakubu. So it's very neat by Portsmouth. They're playing with no fear at all of facing the champions. They're doing their best to take the game to them.
Well, it's really a rip-roaring game, this, really. Terrific play by Portsmouth. Luar very cleverly there. Finally beaten by Ashley Cole's challenge. But in the previous move, it was fascinating to see Yakubu, I think, push Campbell out the way. That's the rarity.
Luar, neatly done. Oh, offside. Andy Griffin.
the assistant missed. But we've had this debate in England so much over the last week about the offside situation. Some psychologist or professor abroad has looked at the offside rule and said that it's an impossibility for the assistants to have the eye coordination to cope with the ball being played from deep to a running player.
Pressure from Yakubu, wins the throw. See how much the Portsmouth fans are enjoying this. They love nothing more than discomforting the big fish of English football. Manchester United vanquished here already this season. And last, Berger, Steve Stone, Gary O'Neill, brimful of confidence. Earlier this season he was playing on loan in the Championship. Now, Patrick Berger. Couldn't feed it through to Yakubu. Still in Portsmouth's possession with O'Neill. Now in Arsenal's with Pires. Lamini. Van Persie. Cole. Vieira. Ori.
This is where Arsenal need all the leadership qualities of Campbell, Patrick Vieira. We know that it only takes a second to score a goal, and Thierry Henry is the best at doing that. But at the moment, I would suggest that this period since half-time of Portsmouth play is a good example to any other team in the Premiership of how to cope with Arsenal.
Andy Griffin. Lualua, by the way, has scored important late goals in 2 of the last 3 English Premier League games for Portsmouth. Winner against West Brom, an equaliser in the 92nd minute at Anfield during the week. Griffin. Campbell. Lamini. Stone took the ball, and here's Yakubu, and Almunia. He's gone down as if caught late by Yakubu. The Nigerian is claiming he had every right to challenge for the ball.
It was Steve Stone that did the pressuring, and it was Vieira, I think, that was loose. Now, I believe that both players went for the ball. It was a difficult one. He did catch him on the ankle, there's no question about that.
There were some studs showing from Yakubu. Is that inevitable in that situation, though, as he challenges?
I don't think he went purposefully high. And I don't think he was high, and, you know, had he been, and had he really gone over the top, then I can assure you Almunia wouldn't have been in that situation now. And I think credit to him that he's got up quickly, but I thought Yakubu did well, and they both handled it well. There you are. No, I think he only saw the ball. They were both going at some speed.
Thankfully, both of them are okay. The concern was over Almunia, but he was up on his feet pretty rapidly. And there's a man who's got a few more worry lines than he had a couple of months ago. Seems to be feeling the chill today. Side of the fact he's still got a wonderful bunch of players. Here's one of them, Toure. It's only a goal kick though.
As the game goes on, we can can expect Touré and Campbell. We saw him early in the second half, foraging forward. The space or the spare men for Arsenal are at the back, with Portsmouth keeping the same system. The change is purely Yakubu for Fuller. It's a positional change. Luar is still playing on the right. There you see him more central, only because it's a goal kick and he's gone in to support the tall front runner. But you know, Arsenal have to break a little bit more out from the back.
Clichy. Foot high is the referee's decision against Steve Stone.
Correct decision. Steve Stone gets a few bookings for his never say die attitude, as indeed does Fye and O'Neill, I believe. All feisty characters in their own way in the middle of the field.
And the word from the Arsenal bench is that they're planning a substitution. It would be Bergkamp in place of Robin van Persie.
It doesn't surprise me too much. Bergkamp can make that very clever, intricate pass that can set someone up for a clear chance, and as we've seen, there hasn't been too many for Arsenal so far in this game.
Yakubu. And now Kolo Touré. Whatever happens in this game, Arsenal have been provided with a thorough examination.
Absolutely. Flamini and Vieira in midfield have had to work tremendously hard against the threesome that Portsmouth have put out to combat them in there, and they've done all exceedingly well. Stone, Fye and O'Neill. But it's 25 minutes to go. Can Arsenal turn it on? We've seen them so many times this season absolutely destroy opposition.
Not really in the last couple of months, since that defeat at Old Trafford that ended the long run. Perez. In all competitions, Arsenal beaten 3 times this season. 15 wins, 9 defeats, and all 3 have been away from home. 2 at Old Trafford, one of those in the Carling Cup, and the other at Liverpool.
I would be very surprised if Arsenal had been involved in many nil-nillers.
They almost always score. They've 27 matches this season and scored in 25 of them.
A little bit of tiredness creeping in possibly when people misplace passes. Sometimes it's to do with fatigue. Steve Stone getting caught out there. Here's the change, and there you see a very calm man in the background, just stroking his chin, Ziyech, and the way the spirit is at Portsmouth, I've got a feeling that will make it easy for Milan Mandaric to say, as we are for the time being. Maybe Bergkamp can change the thoughts.
That's a 35-year-old Dutchman in place of a 21-year-old Dutchman. And that's a good turn, but it's Berger who picks up possession. And the parry is by Almunia. And Vieira helped it further clear. Luar. O'Neill snapping in. First touch for Bergkamp is a brief one. Steve Stone. Portsmouth playing it around with some poise. Until Luar lost it to Henry. Trying the long route against Primus, who challenged but didn't get the ball. That had long since departed.
It's purely the pace there of Henry, and Primus did tremendously well to show the pace that he did. But I think he's going to get a yellow card, is he, for his trouble? No, sensible refereeing.
Primus didn't make his debut in the top flight of English football until he was 30. Very well. Now he's got some work to do. Bergkamp. Too close to the goalkeeper.
Well, I don't think Ashdown has been tested too much today. He's coped very comfortably with everything that's been put in his direction. Hislop looks as though he's destined for a longer spell on the bench. He's done such good work, Hislop, for Portsmouth in the last 2.5 seasons.
Lost his place through injury and now can't get it back even though he's fit. Lua. It's a foul by Clichy. He bears the name of the suburb in which he was born, in Paris. And Lua now bears the mark of Clichy as well.
It's a wild tackle. It's a cup tie atmosphere. You sense it's a really almost a winner-takes-all, as though it's the end of the season.
And Steve Stone always swinging away from goal.
This is the Berger effort. Loses an angle, gets too far in, really can't score from there, but he hits it with some power. I believe he's had as many efforts at goal as any other player in the English Premier League this season. Always looking for a shot. And indeed, to my cost, or to Tottenham Hotspur's cost, last season in this particular game, I think just prior to Christmas, Portsmouth played Tottenham, 2-0 the result to Portsmouth, and Mr. Berger hit 2 fantastic free kicks.
Clichy didn't get past. The tricks in his locker.
It's been entertaining today and he's been fully involved, which will please the management.
Might amaze one or two of his other managers. Portsmouth's ball, and Griffin's throw. Sense that temper's a little frayed in the case of Ashley Cole. He's had a couple of swipes at the ball, a swipe at a player once as well.
Very few players in the English Premiership have the audacity or the confidence to take Cole on. And in this game we've seen Lua on several occasions take the ball, relax on the ball, invite him into the challenge and then try and be clever. And certainly the headaches today have been with Wenger and Pat Rice there and Gary Lewin. Very solid Arsenal bench. They won't be panicking, but they know that at the moment they haven't done anything to suggest they can break this Portsmouth team down.
8 points behind Chelsea. They would cut the gap to 7 with a draw. Draw is by no means guaranteed, not with the likes of Yakubo around, nicking it away from Sol Campbell. What's Campbell's response?
Frustration, there's no question. And a super ball by O'Neill and behind the Arsenal defence for Yakubu. Has no problems with his confidence in terms of the physical commitment and the strength that's required.
Here is Yakubu. No real power.
Offered to so many clubs when he first came from Israel. Certainly Tottenham Hotspur were one of those clubs.
Done enough for Portsmouth to make you wish you'd pursued him?
Well, I think he was known really. He played Champions League games, European games in Israel, and I think there was a couple of things that people weren't certain about. First of all, there was a permit problem at first. Watch this here, Campbell.
So Campbell! Only the third English Englishman to score for Arsenal in 2004. And I don't believe he's ever scored a goal like that before. 25 yards plus, whack of the right boot. We're used to sniffing distance with the head, but the right boot from there.
Well, we said a few minutes ago that Campbell and Toure have to come forward a little bit more. They've got the space. He certainly hit it well. He hit it really fierce, but could Portsmouth have gone forward and closed it a little bit? They left Ashdown too exposed. The power of the shot beat them. Remember, Sol started as a centre forward at Tottenham as a young boy, so he knows all about shooting, but of course he rarely has to go forward and help out. Usually he has to sit back and calmly play as a centre-back, and there he is rescuing Arsenal with 15 minutes to go in a game. They rarely look like scoring, and he surged forward and had literally a free shot.
Well, in 474 games, he scored 23 goals in his professional career. How many from outside the penalty area? It's what Arsenal needed. But he swiped it pretty majestically past a goalkeeper who's had precious little to do in terms of making saves. And now Portsmouth find themselves in a familiar position. They've come from behind to win or draw each of their last 3 games.
But they shouldn't really be in this position where they're having to chase the game now. They played so determinedly.
Here's Perez, and he was caught by Stone.
And of course they've had chances, Fuller and O'Neill. But we know what a threat they are, and
you know what Howard Webb's asking, don't you?
Absolutely. Do you want the whistle or not? If you don't want the whistle, you can take it quick, but if you hit someone who's only a couple of yards away, don't expect to take it again. If you want to take advantage of it, that's up to you, but I'm not going to allow you to take it again. It's perfectly right what Cole did the other week, and Webb's done similarly. That's also correct.
In by Henry, and the header is wide. Not far wide, but wide from Mathieu Flamini. Still in search of his first goal for Arsenal.
Good free kick that, because everyone thinking that he's going to take the shot at goal and put it on the head of a colleague. Portsmouth now will need to change their thinking. I feel Berkovic has to come and add some craft up the front, play as a second striker. They're going to have to take one of the brave midfield off, I think Stone or Faye. I suggest Stone maybe.
This is Lauren. Bergkamp. Turn was played just behind Robert Perez. This is Matthew Taylor. Looking long and diagonally for Luar. Now, did Cole foul him? The arm came across, and Howard Webb saw enough to give the free kick.
Well, in old terms, that was obstruction, but he knew exactly what he was doing, and I think that should be a yellow card. He cut across him. He's had troubles this afternoon, Ashley Cole. He rarely does have troubles defensively, but he's certainly there. There you go, no question about that. He impeded Luar, who was going to steal across him and get in front of him. I don't know what the argument that Cole is presenting to Mr. Webb. It's a good crossfield ball, wasn't it, by Matthew Taylor, that just induced that obstruction. It's taken very well as well by Luar, who's had a very good afternoon.
First booking of the game, with only 11 minutes remaining. Consoling pat on the head from the player he fouled. And bearing in mind the amount of dissent, Arsenal are perhaps fortunate that the free kick hasn't been marched forward 10 yards. Berger. Often Arsenal head for a corner. The heads belong to the goal scorer, Sol Campbell. For Luar as he places the ball. Taylor. Stone. Taylor was caught late. referee plays the advantage. Loire. It's a good surge. Still with Pompey. Steve Stone. Goalkeeper blocked it! And Loire couldn't capitalise.
Oh, the second save was magnificent.
But if he'd made the first one, the second one wouldn't have been necessary.
It was Stone's effort, spilled it. Loire had more time probably than he thought. There he was.
Did it hit the 6-yard line? Was that what caused it to skip up off the turf? Is that what the goalkeeper would claim?
It wasn't easy for him.
Arsenal's points by no means secure. Between Chelsea and Arsenal at the start, 8 points. They'll be down to 5 if it remains this way. It's Yakubu and Co's job to try and conjure another late equaliser for Portsmouth. Of the season, which means he gets Boxing Day off. Won't be involved against Fulham, and it's going to be a substitution and an attacking one, as it needs to be, by Portsmouth. Isle Berkovic, the Israeli, who made quite a difference at Liverpool the other night, is going to come on. Thought is that Andy Fye is going to make way.
Sacrificing possibly the defensive midfield player. He's done a good job. He's tied it up very well, Andy Fye, as the crowd appreciate. Berkovic coming on in the hope of making one crucial pass that will put someone in to get the goal that's so vital to Portsmouth. He's been getting plenty of rests lately, Berkovic, and his spells in the team seem less and less, but no one can disguise his quality.
He has been getting pretty fed up with things here. The club announced only yesterday that they are prepared to consider letting him go during the transfer window.
I don't think he'll have to move far.
You're right, I'm sure Bournemouth will want him, David.
I think there'll be a lot of clubs would like him, but of course he gets quite a good salary at Portsmouth, but needs must. And there's the terrific shot of Campbell, who is allowed to come quite a long way with it, and the back four maybe have been surprised, but I would suggest there Primus should have made the forward move to him and tried to get some kind of block on. I don't think he realised how critical the situation was, or how accurate or powerful Campbell's shot may have been.
Clichy to Cole. Arsenal win would be a very welcome way for the champions to approach the Christmas period. And they would feel that 5 points behind Chelsea is a much more acceptable gap than 8. Here's Lauren. Zeu's header. And Vieira sliced. Campbell's goal separates two teams who today at least have been well matched. Cole, Stone, out for an Arsenal throw. for Arsenal at the moment. Cole. Now then boy Primus. Stone goes down by Bergkamp. O'Neill. Stretch far enough. And Arsenal move it quickly and impressively. Chance here for Robert Pires. Primus has got back. Bergkamp's arriving. And Bergkamp went for elevation beyond the goalkeeper and got too much of it.
Yeah, Pires maximising the space that's been left by Portsmouth pushing forward. I think it was Berkovic that trailed Pires in the first place. Just got held up on the edge of the box, and there's Bergkamp for once getting his preparation for the shot completely wrong.
Here's Bergkamp once again. By Griffin, this is Henry, and the deflection.
They nearly made the same mistake again, no one closing the ball.
And up goes Yakubu in pursuit, but Toure was there first, and the flag was up. Against Portsmouth, but don't forget it was the 92nd minute when they claimed their equaliser in their last game at Anfield. This stage in their last home fixture against West Brom, they were only just about to make it 2-2, and they won it 3-2. With the greatest of respect to West Brom, playing Arsenal is a rather different experience and a different challenge.
So dangerous from that range. I think he's enjoyed his time at Portsmouth, Berger. I think he's become a regular, and that's given him much confidence.
He's been fit, hasn't he?
And of course he's been fit, yes.
After 3 years of injuries at Liverpool. Vieira. Primus in the way of the back heel from Henry. Berkovic. 2 minutes of normal time. 3 additional minutes will be tagged on at the end of that, so Portsmouth have 5 minutes to salvage something from this game. Lemano Trésor Lualua. Ariane Deseu. Doesn't seem to be with Portsmouth as it was for a lengthy period earlier in the second half.
Yes, I mean, it's not finished yet, but it's been a most exciting confrontation, and I thought the tactics of Portsmouth were spot on, and had the quality of their finishing matched the inspirational effort of the players, then Arsenal would certainly have lost this game, no question.
Deseu. Cole. Forward. Matthew Taylor. Lofted for O'Neill. Griffin. Under play.
I think he's had a very good game, O'Neill. Ferreted away in the centre of the field and made some good passes, sensible passes, made tackles. Had a very good game. A player that was very much out of Harry Redknapp's thinking, but obviously made a big impression on the new people.
Lualua. Couldn't handle the challenge from Cole. 20-somethings on display. Taylor. Now Vieira. Bergkamp. Perez. Ori. First of 3 extra minutes. Portsmouth facing a first Barclays English Premier League defeat in 5 games under the management of Velimir Zayets and Joe Jordan. Despite the age-old saying of 1-0 to the Arsenal, it is a full 3 months since they last triumphed in a game by that margin. Sol Campbell's goal, the difference. Berkovic, Campbell, only half a clearance. Berkovic tried to squeeze it through to Loire. It's just not running for Portsmouth now. And Perez down the line for Henri. And Dennis Bergkamp brings a very good save from Ashdown. Bergkamp goals are few and far between these days. He's not scored in his last 14 matches. That would have finished it beyond any reasonable doubt, and Arsenal now have a corner. And once the corner's been taken, there won't be much time left.
Really great chance for Bergkamp. He almost took it too lazily, going for placement as he often does. But Ashdown made a splendid save.
Henri content to keep it by the corner flag. Webb's given the free kick Portsmouth's way, and Pompey don't even wait, they just get on with it. This is Berkovic. They need to get the ball downfield, and they've presented it to Clichy. Now Gary O'Neill. Half a minute left. Clichy's done well for Arsenal. Bergkamp. Berger. 93rd minute. This is the time when Portsmouth tend to equalise, if recent history is any guide. Not attacking with the conviction of earlier in the game, but here's Loire. And Loire tried a shot that hit Sol Campbell. Time's up! Arsenal are back on the winning track, and the goal was a most unlikely one. A long-range drive from Sol Campbell. Portsmouth gave so much to the game. They had the better of the chances in the first hour. Twice Ricardo Fuller, once Gary O'Neill, failing when really they should have scored. But you could see what it meant to Arsene Wenger after so many games which have ended in either disappointing draws or depressing defeats. Now an uplifting victory. And the togetherness of the Arsenal camp self-evident in their celebration. Sol Campbell, only the 3rd Englishman to register a goal in the year 2004. 3 out of 125, but put a price on that one today. They narrow the gap to 5 points between themselves and the pretenders Chelsea. That's how it is as they head into the hectic Christmas and New Year schedule. Hugely entertaining and very satisfying for the reigning Barclays English Premier League champions Arsenal, who've beaten Portsmouth at Fratton Park by 1-0.